Hi, I'm Jeremy, and you're listening to Verse by Verse. When's the last time you had some doubts about what God was doing? And that can be in your own life or in the world at large. Just think back to the last time that you, in your heart of hearts, wondered, God, what's your plan here? Because it's not making any sense to me. I have those thoughts sometimes. I think every Christian in the world has those thoughts sometimes. And I also think those are really hard thoughts for a Christian to think, because the core of our identity is wrapped around believing, obeying, and trusting in God, even when it doesn't make sense. But that doesn't change the fact that there will be times when we look out at events unfolding around us and think, God, how can this be part of your plan? Or, God, I thought for sure you would have stepped in by now and fixed this. Or, God, are you even seeing this? Do you even care? In those moments, I take some comfort in the book of Habakkuk. Habakkuk is a minor prophet, and it's rarely the first book people are inclined to turn to as they study the Bible. But the book itself opens with a very relatable cry of desperation. In Habakkuk 1, verse 1, Habakkuk says, "O Lord, how long shall I cry and you will not hear? Even cry out to you violence, and you will not save? Why do you show me iniquity and cause me to see trouble?" Habakkuk the prophet is crying out to God and saying, I don't get it, God. The world doesn't look like I expect it to look with you in charge. The things you're allowing, the things you're planning to do, they don't make sense to me. They seem wrong to me. I appreciate that God inspired Habakkuk's question and inner turmoil to be preserved for us. I appreciate that we have this example of God's own prophet saying, wait a minute, how am I supposed to make sense of all of this? So that brings us to today's verse, Habakkuk 2, verse 1. Habakkuk has just finished asking his questions, and he ends by saying, I will stand my watch and set myself on the rampart, and watch to see what he will say to me, and what I will answer when I am corrected. And that's what I appreciate most of all about this passage. God allows Habakkuk to ask. He doesn't strike him down on the spot for having questions, for being confused, for struggling to understand. But God doesn't give Habakkuk a clear answer either. At the end of the book, after hearing God's reply to his questions, this is what Habakkuk says. Though the fig tree may not blossom, nor fruit be on the vines, though the labor of the olive may fail, and the fields yield no food, though the flock may be cut off from the fold, and there be no herd in the stalls, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will joy in the God of my salvation. Sitting in uncertainty is hard. We want answers. We want to understand. We want to know when and why and how. And I think throughout history, a lot of Christians have been in Habakkuk's position, standing our watch, waiting on the rampart to see how God will answer us. Sometimes we get answers, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes all we get is the reassurance that our God knows what he's doing, that he sees things that we can't, and that even when things are falling apart around us, we have to trust him. That is not an easy answer. But it is a question that God allows us to ask.
If you've been enjoying Verse by Verse and want to help the show grow, here's what you can do to get the word out. Wherever you're listening, make sure to subscribe. If you're on a platform that accepts reviews and ratings, those can both make a big difference in helping other people find us. Verse by Verse is a Life, Hope, and Truth podcast. Check out the show notes to find more free content, like videos, articles, and booklets in our Learning Center.